Hello, hola. Welcome to Grammy SuSu's Storytime, coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I have a great story to read to you today. I hope you like it as much as I do. Hello, children, parents, friends, nannies, everyone. Thanks for coming today. We've read at least one other story about cranes. Today we're going to read another story about cranes. Cranes all over the world are a kind of magical, beautiful bird. And the crane that we're going to read about today was really magical. What? Oh, Big Bear wants me to tell you that this is a crane feather, not from the crane in the book, but from a crane that he saw down by the river. So, okay, good, Big Bear. We're going to read this story. It comes to us from far, far away, from Japan, which is way on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. This is also a very old book, really old, so I have to be very careful turning the pages. Sometimes things that are old are really special. So, yeah, you might notice that some of the pictures that I show you are kind of funny, and it's because I had to be so careful turning the pages of this. So, this book is written by Miyoko Matsutani, Japanese, and the pictures are done by another Japanese person, Chihiro Iwasaki. The pictures are all done with watercolors. They're really beautiful. Okay, are you ready? Long years ago, at the edge of a small mountain village in the snow country of Japan, there lived an old man and his wife. They had little in this world they could call their own, but they were happy in their life together. Now, one winter morning, the old man set out for the village with a bundle of firewood fastened to his back. It was bitter cold, and he knew he would have little trouble selling the wood. Then, with the money, he would buy some food so he and his wife could have a good supper. As the old man trudged through the falling snow, he was suddenly aware of a fluttering sound and a pitiful cry of "Caw, caw." Turning from the path to investigate, he came upon a great crane, frantically trying to free herself from a trap. The old man's heart was touched with pity for the magnificent bird, and while he tried to soothe the crane with tender words, his hands released the cruel spring of the trap. At once the crane flew up, joyfully calling, "Caw, caw," and disappeared into the snowy sky. With a lighter step, the old man went on through the snow, and when he had sold his wood, he returned once more to his humble house. While his old wife busied herself with preparing supper, he told her about rescuing the crane. "That was a good deed," she said. "Surely the gods will one day reward you for your kind heart." As she spoke those words, there came a tapping on the door. The old wife hurried to see who was there, and upon opening the door, saw a beautiful young girl standing in the swirling snow. Her delicate face glowed like a peach, beginning to ripen in the summer sun, and her dark eyes sparkled in the dancing firelight. "Forgive my knocking at your door," she said in a soft voice, "but I have lost my way in the snow. May I share the warmth of your fire tonight?" Then, bowing low before the two old people, she said, "My name is Suri-san." Let's see, this is ripped here. "Oh, you poor child," cried the old wife. "Come Come in at once before you freeze in the bitter cold." They sat the girl down close to the hearth, and the old woman piled more wood on the flames so the girl would soon be warm. The old couple shared their simple supper of hot porridge with Suri-san, all the time feasting their eyes on her great beauty. Then they gave her their bed with its warm quilts to sleep on, while they spent the night huddled on a pile of straw. In the morning, when they awoke, the old man and his wife were surprised to see a good fire already burning on the hearth. The water urn was filled with fresh, clear water, the floors had been swept, and all the rooms were clean and tidy. Suri-san, the sleeves of her kimono neatly tied back with a red cord, was busily stirring a pot over the fire. "Good morning," she said, bowing to the old couple. "If you will wash your hands, we may eat breakfast, for the porridge is cooked and ready." "In our old age, we have a daughter," said the old man, laughing. "It is the gods smiling on us for your good deed of yesterday," replied his wife happily. The snow and the bitter cold continued for many days, and so Suri-san stayed in the shelter of the old couple's home. As she had neither mother nor father, it was at last decided she would remain as a daughter to the two old people. The children of the neighborhood were soon attracted to the house, as the girl was such a delight to be with. The house rang with happy laughter, and the hearts of the old man and his wife were filled with joy at the sound. And so the days of early winter passed, and soon it would be time for the great New Year's celebration. The old man spoke to his wife, saying, "Suri-san has been such a delight to us. If only I could give her the gift of a new kimono." That's what they're wearing here. It's like a beautiful robe. "Or if I could make her a nice cake for the new year," his wife added. But alas, the winter had been hard. The old man had not been able to cut wood to sell, so there was no money to buy even rice, much less a kimono. Now Suri-san had overheard them talking, and it made her sad that these good people should be so poor. Coming before them, she bowed low and said, "Dear parents, I know there has been no wood to sell, but perhaps I can help you and repay your great kindness to me. There is an old loom in the back room. I will weave cloth on it for you to sell in the village. Only you must promise me that no one shall look at me while I'm weaving." The old man and his wife thought this was an odd request to make, but they agreed. Suri-san locked herself in the room, and soon they heard the sound of ting-cola, cola, pon-pon, ting-cola, cola, pon-pon, as the shuttle sped back and forth, and the fabric grew at length. For 3 days this continued, and Suri-san paused for neither food nor rest. Then at last the door opened, and she stepped out, holding in her hands a bolt of cloth such as the old man and his wife had never seen in all their lives. They gasped at its beauty and marveled at its incredible softness. "Dear father," said the girl, "take this cloth into the village and sell it. It will be but small payment for the happy home you have given me. Remember this, however," she continued. "Do not put a price on this cloth, and you will make more money than you imagine." Without waiting a moment, the old man hurried into the center of the village And when the people saw the beautiful cloth he carried, a crowd soon gathered. I will pay you 10 gold pieces for your cloth, said one man. No, no, said another. Sell it to me for 20 gold pieces. You would be a fool to sell it for such a price, old man, said another. This is a bolt of rare twilled brocade. I will pay you 50 gold pieces for it. And so it went, with each man offering more, until the old man finally sold the cloth for 100 pieces of gold. Pausing only long enough to buy rice for rice cakes, a kimono for Suri-san, and a few delicacies for New Year's Day, the man hurried home with his pockets jingling. Tomorrow is New Year's Day, he sang. The New Year is such a happy time, eating rice cakes whiter than snow, drinking sake that is smoother than oil. Then such a hustle and bustle there was as the old man and his wife prepared for a feast. As he pounded the rice, his wife made it into fine white cakes. And on New Year's Day, all the children came for a great party with their friend, Suri-san. Still, the cold days of winter followed one after another, until at last one day Suri-san said to the old couple, "It is time for me to weave another bolt of cloth for you, so you will have money to live until spring. But remember what I told you. No one is to look at me while I'm working." Again, they promised they would not, and the girl once more locked herself into the room and began weaving. Ting-cola, cola, pon, pon, ting-cola, pon, pon, went the loom. One day passed, and then the second. Still the sound of the loom filled the house. By now, the neighbors had grown curious. "Is Suri-san weaving again?" they asked. "Ah, soon you will have more gold pieces to hide under the floor," said another with a smile and a wink. "The loom makes such an interesting sound," remarked the first one. "I would love to see what Suri-san is doing." "We have promised not to watch her while she works," said the old man. "What an odd request," said one of the people. "I would not make such a promise to my daughter. You can believe me. What harm could there be in taking one look?" Now, in truth, the old woman had been most curious about Suri-san's weaving, and encouraged by her neighbor's remarks, she stepped up to a crack in the door. "Stop, stop, old woman," cried her husband when he saw what was happening. "Suri-san has forbidden it." But it was too late. His wife had already peeked through the crack. What a sight it was that met her eyes. There, sitting at the loom, was a giant white crane, pulling feathers from her body and miraculously weaving them into cloth. The old woman stepped back from the door, and before she could relate what she had seen, the door opened. Out stepped Suri-san, thin and pale, holding in her arms a half-finished bolt of cloth. "Dear parents," she said in a weak voice, "I am the crane you rescued from the trap. I wanted to repay your kindness by weaving you another bolt of cloth." Then her eyes filled with tears. "But now that you have seen me in my true form, I can no longer stay with you." With this, she kissed the man and his wife tenderly and walked out of the house. Instantly, she became a crane once more, and with a great whoosh of her wings, flew up into the sky. Slowly, she circled overhead, and then, with a single cry of "Caw," as if to say goodbye, the Crane Maiden was gone forever. Well, that's kind of sad and beautiful, kind of like the cranes themselves. So remember this when you make a promise. It's important to keep your promises. I hope you like this story. Thanks for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.